God planned the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in the state. Everybody out here knowing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who got at the gate. Keep that money in the power, never be fake. Stick the codes out for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and pop at your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs got me on the CNN. BBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Just make it down here on Dr Boyce TV.
All right, guys, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? Hey, I hope you guys are having a good day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. I want to say what's up. I see Linda and Tim Harvey and Jeff Lucas and Jeff Wallace. What's going on, man? School is in session. That's right. You know, you can't hang out with me for too long without learning something. You might hate my guts when it's over with, but you're going to learn something. You're going to learn today. Anyway, I'm going to talk in a second about something that just really got my attention today, that really inspired me. It had to do with Mr. Bill Cosby. And I know this is a touchy topic for a lot of people, and I want to try to have this conversation with as much truth and honesty and respect as I can. But y'all know me, I got to keep it 100. And my number one goal is to not say the same retarded shit that you hear on mainstream media. My goal is actually to give you something that comes from not just an intelligent perspective, but a black perspective, a perspective built on truth, and a perspective that's actually going to make us a better community at the end. That's the goal. Now, do me a favor before we get started. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you watch it on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button. Facebook, please share it to your page. Also, somebody asked where you can get shirts like this. We actually have a t-shirt line, wokeblacktees.com. Woke Black Tees, W-O-K-E, wokeblacktees.com. Buy a shirt. We love it. Our shirts are cool, and it's really a great way to express your blackness and help a black-owned business at the same time. Because I know y'all about to go make it rain on white folks for Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that, and they ain't giving you none of that money back. They ain't spending none of that money in your community. They ain't doing nothing for you. You and your babies can all get shot in the street, and they ain't got nothing for you, whereas we're going to be there for you. Now, somebody said the sound is gone. Is the sound gone? Let me see if I can make the sound come back. On Facebook, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? If you guys can, let me know if you can hear me or see me. If you can hear me and see me, give me a yes in the chat. If you cannot hear me and see me, then don't say anything, because that means you can't hear me. Okay, no sound. All right, so what I'm going to do, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no if you can hear me and see me. Okay. All right. So, okay, Gary Ward says he can hear me. All right, so I'm going to just keep going. If you can't hear me, or if you have any problems, somebody type in drboycetv.com on Facebook, type drboycetv.com, and that's where you can actually go to watch the rest of the video. And I'll say hi to my friends on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it started. Bill Cosby, Bill Cosby, Bill Cosby. First, do a quick survey. Y'all know, you know why Bill Cosby's in prison, I assume. I'm assuming that. If you don't, you can go Google it. Allegedly, he's accused. He's in prison. This is what he's in prison for, right? He was accused of a lot of shit, right? But this is what he's in prison for. He's in prison for allegedly touching this lady's boob while she was sleeping or something, and drugging her and touching her boob. So kind of doing what Cardi B did, except, you know, he's a black man, so he's going to go to prison for that. Cardi B is going to get like a record deal and an extra $25 million from white people. But anyway, Bill Cosby was in prison. It was quite a fascinating case because, number one, there was no evidence. Number two, he had already paid this lady $3.5 million for touching her titty, allegedly, assuming that, you know, he was just, I don't know if he was paying her off to make her go away or paying her off because he felt guilty. Either way, she got $3.5 million and still kept coming to see him, kept coming to his house or something. I have no idea. But anyway, so Cosby's been in jail since that time. Now, check this out. Here's why I'm talking about Mr. Cosby today. I'm going to just say this. This man is a beast. He is, I mean, beast in a good way. He's a G. How about this? A G. They interviewed him, and I'm really happy somebody interviewed him and was telling his story just to see what's going on with him. Because unlike a lot of people, I don't think Cosby is a waste. I don't think that him being in prison means you need to destroy his legacy, act like he didn't exist. That's what white people are going to do, and that's okay. It's okay if white people destroy his legacy and act like he didn't exist, because we pretty much destroy white people's legacies in our house. Like, our 12-year-old came downstairs and was telling me about George Washington. I was like, oh, you mean the guy who used to rape black women for a living, and then he ended up changing the laws so that they could enslave black children from the time they're born until the time they die? You mean him and the man who spent his life hunting down slaves? Is that who you're talking about? Because, you know, he's a rapist. He's a pretty terrible person, right? So it's okay. It's okay to decide in your space who your heroes are going to be and who your villains are going to be. And I've just decided that all the founding fathers are a bunch of goddamn villains. That's how it happens in Castle Watkins, right? Now, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad if mainstream media decides to make Bill Cosby into something other than what he was. I personally see Cosby as a guy. He's either a good guy who did some bad things or a bad guy who did some good things. Either way, his legacy is mixed. I cannot talk about Cosby's accusations without also talking about the fact that he made the largest donation to an HBCU in American history that I know of. The only thing that's matched it actually in 2019 dollars was actually when Robert Smith went and paid off all the student loan debt for all the students in Morehouse, which, by the way, I also hope that he can get some business loans for them so these young brothers can learn to start businesses instead of spending their lives begging white people for jobs. Let's be clear about that. I just want to throw that out there in case Robert's watching. Robert, if you're watching, brothers don't need to be working for white people, especially in the Me Too era. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Let me keep going. So let me read about Mr. Cosby's interview. Please hit the thumbs up button. So he did an interview with the National Newspaper Publishers Association, blackpressusa.com, who we should all support. These are black journalists. They're very, very good. They could do better if black people supported them. So let's support these black people. They published an interview with Mr. Cosby in which he continues to profess his innocence. The former Cosby Show star is currently serving a 3 to 10 year sentence at a maximum security prison outside Philadelphia for the 2004 sexual assault of Temple University employee Andrea Constand. And I don't know if y'all saw her Adam's apple, but her name should probably be Andrew. She looks like an Andrew, but we're going to call her Andrea, or the lady who got $3.5 million for getting her boob grabbed, allegedly, claiming. No proof. Proof matters. Let's keep that in mind. Here we go. Cosby told the NNPA that he believes he'll serve his full sentence. Check this out. This man's in his 80s. He said he believes he's going to serve his full sentence because he will not admit guilt or remorse, which is a prerequisite for early release. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all just hear this? This man in his 80s, what year was Mr. Cosby born? He was born, let me see, let me Wikipedia him. Hit the thumbs up button, please. Let me see here. Bill Cosby is 82 years old. How many of y'all at 82 years old can imagine facing 3 to 10 years in prison and still remaining defiant and saying, you know what, I'm just going to have to do all my time. I'm going to have to hang in there till I'm 93. That takes courage. I don't know a lot of people who could do that, honestly. And we know how this system's built. The system is kind of a screwed up system in that even if you're innocent, the only way you get out early is if you lie and say that you're guilty. And we know how many black men have gone to prison and died in prison for things they did not do. We know that this has happened. This is documented. This is not my speculation. This is not my theory. This is not a conspiracy I'm making up. I didn't pull this out of my ass. This is true. This has happened. We know this is the case. It's statistically proven that it's happened thousands and thousands and thousands of times. In fact, shout out to Kim and Kanye. I know Kanye's acting a little crazy right now, but shout out to the Kanye Kardashian family. Kim's got 17 people out of prison in the last, I think, 20 weeks or something. That's pretty cool, but it's like, I was reading, I was like, okay, yeah, but that's like 17 down, 10,000, 20,000 to go. I'm kind of tired of these one-offs in terms of justice. The one-offs don't mean a whole lot. They're just symbolic, right? And I'm trying to figure out when we're going to get past the symbolism and realize that we actually have a problem. It's like if you have 30,000 roaches in your closet and you're like, I stamped out one roach, I stamped out 2 roaches, I stamped out 8 roaches last night. But yeah, you stamped out 8, but you have 30,000 roaches in your closet. You need to go in there and you need to fumigate that motherfucker, right? You need to fumigate the whole damn house, right? And that's what we haven't done. The system is funky. The system is toxic. The system is racist. The system is disease. This has been proven. At what point are we going to fumigate the system and release all the hundreds or even thousands of people who were either falsely charged, overcharged, or should not be in prison anyway? They're in prison right now being beaten, raped, stabbed, traumatized, and nobody out here gives a damn because nobody talks about it because it's happening to black people, mostly black men, and we know that black men lie at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of who they actually care about. So let me keep reading more about what Cosby said, and I'm going to tell you why I admire his defiance, despite the fact that I cannot say I unconditionally admire Cosby. In fact, if you went back 12 years, I kind of thought Cosby was an asshole. I really did. And I still see that in him. I felt like he was a little bit cocky. He reminded me of a lot of celebrities who go to Hollywood and they start getting around those white folks and they start really thinking they're not black anymore. They start thinking that they can sort of, look down on other black people. And I felt that some of Cosby's language reflected that. In fact, all those Beckys running in and out of his hotel room, I think that he needs to understand. I think your sons need to understand this too. You're putting yourself in the danger zone when you're doing that. You're literally putting yourself in a situation where that person can come out and tell any story and you're going down, you're going to prison. And also, if you think that I don't believe Cosby ever did anything wrong, the answer is no. I do believe that he probably did something maybe in the 60s, maybe in the 70s, or even the 80s. But the thing is, in this justice system, you're supposed to have this thing called proof. You're supposed to have this thing called proof. And I don't give a shit if you get mad at me for saying this. You're supposed to have this thing called proof. And when you got a bunch of drug addicts and people desperate for money who are making allegations that can't be proven from 40 years ago, you can't act like it's true just because they said it. You can't act on it as if it happened. Those are white woman rules. I'm just gonna tell you, those are white women. Those rules would never apply for black. Think about this. Y'all have 400 years of documented slavery, rapes, castrations, land being stolen all around the world. The Meghan Markle married the little white boy over in England because his family got all their billions in wealth from stealing land from black people and wealth from black people. And you literally can't go get any of that back, even though you have documentation and proof of all these things that were done to you, all these things that were taken from you. Some of y'all got grandparents who are like, yeah, back in 1945, they shot my uncle in the head and took his farm. Like, you got documentation of this, proof of this, and they're doing nothing on this, right? So my point is to say that, it's fascinating how the rules change when you talk about black people versus non-black people. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, let me keep going. Hit the thumbs up button, please. Please hit the thumbs up button. So here's what they said. Now listen to this. This is a Yahoo article, so a white guy probably wrote it. So they're gonna write it from their perspective. And it says the disgraced Cosby Show star used his interview to profess his innocence, saying he expects to serve his full sentence because he won't admit guilt or remorse for the 2004 sexual assault of Andrea Constand. And let's be clear. I think she got groped. She got groped and then she got paid. But there's no proof that she got groped. There is proof that she got paid. And I can tell you, I mean, you could grab I don't have titties, but if I had one, you could grab both of them for $3.5 million. I'd be okay with that. Not to say that titty grabbing is okay, but not to say that it happened, but you could grab pretty much anything you want on me if you wanted, if you pay me that kind of money. I'm sure Alicia would be okay with that. She'd probably ask me to take the money. So let me read this. He says, I have 8 years and 9 months left, Cosby told the National Newspaper Association, Publishers Association, BlackPressUSA.com. When I come up for parole, they're not going to hear me say that I have remorse. I was there. I don't care what group of people come along and talk about this when they weren't there. They don't know. Now, I don't know. I mean, again, with full context and full understanding of who Cosby is, good and bad, how many of y'all just think he's like, that this is like the bravest shit you've ever heard from an 80-something-year-old person? I think it's, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know some of y'all might think, I see somebody say you bugging, Doc. That's okay. You might think I'm bugging, but I don't give a shit. This makes me bug. I am bug Watkins right now because I am definitely bugging over the fact that this man is able to maintain that sort of consistency in the face of a devastating situation. I cannot imagine being 80-something years old and being locked up until the day I die, probably, and just saying, you know what? I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. That's basically what he's saying. He's saying, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. And I applaud him for that. I commend him for this, withstanding the fact that he was not a perfect man in his life, right? Withstanding the fact that I don't believe Cosby is a perfect guy. I believe Cosby was in a lot of complex situations. I don't believe every accuser, but I do believe Cosby made some mistakes when he was younger. I do believe that. But also I think that he was in a weird situation where every single blemish in his life was highlighted to an extremity of it all. Whereas not one blemish of any of the accusers was ever highlighted because they called that victim blaming. But I'm sorry, if you are a crackhead prostitute talking about something that can't be proven 40 years ago, and you've been blowing up his phone for 30 years, asking for movie tickets or whatever the hell asking for him to get you into the NBA finals, trying to hunt him down so that you can get opportunities from him, telling all your friends that he's your buddy and bragging about that, and then suddenly you've converted yourself into a victim. I don't understand that. I just don't get that. That takes you out of the victim pool, and I think that in America we know that we have a society where certain people are given free reign to make accusations against other people. They assume those accusations are true. And then you have another group of people, which is us, who can have proof, make accusations, have proof, have witnesses, and nothing gets done. Absolutely nothing gets done. I wish I could run around and just, accuse white people of racism every time a white person was ever mean to me and ruin their whole career and get $10 million in the process. I wish I could do that. I wish every time somebody did me wrong, I could just go tell somebody and get paid. I wish that was true. I wish that was the case for me. But as a black man, I know that's never going to happen. Right. So anyway, I want to say thank you, by the way. I see you in here, Dr. Pierre Louise. You are very consistent with your marketing plan. I think it is a very smart marketing plan. So what Dr. Pierre Louise does, he's the author of the book, or Jimmelson Pierre Louise. I believe it's a man, so I'm going to say he. I hope that's the right pronoun. He gives money in every single super chat because he knows that if you give money in the super chat, I will mention your business, and that is a very inexpensive way to advertise. So I'm going to mention his book. His book is called From Extreme Poverty to Success. It's called From Extreme Poverty to Success. And the way we're working together and helping each other is he's supporting the channel, and by me mentioning his book to 5, 10,000, 20,000 people that watch the video, he's got some very inexpensive advertising, and he will make far more than the $50 that he just donated. So that is a very smart marketing plan. That's how reciprocity works in business. Like, you pay out this much, they give you back that much, right? That's how it's supposed to work. So anyway, let me keep reading more what Cosby said, because he said some more interesting stuff. By the way, if you just came in, I'm talking about Bill Cosby. He did his first interview since he went to jail, and it's really, really fascinating. He's basically being super defiant and basically saying, I'm not ever going to express remorse. I'm not ever going to lie and say that I did it. You can let me die in prison if you want to. I don't care. I just really think that's such an honorable way for a man to go out, whether he made mistakes or not. I just like this, because one thing I can say about Cosby that I observed throughout the years is that he was a very principled guy in certain areas. For example, HBCUs. There's nobody who's matched his HBCU donation until Robert Smith gave $40 million to Morehouse. But actually, Cosby's $20 million donation in the 1980s, if you convert it to 2019 dollars, he matched Robert Smith. They're right there together. Right? Oprah, her 13 million is down here somewhere, but it's okay though. Oprah, still deserves credit for that, right? But a part of the reason your HBCUs are struggling is because you got black celebrities that have a lot of money and don't really want to put that money back into the black community. They don't typically consider black people to be a worthy investment. They see black people almost like a little charity where they throw their spare change. Cosby and Camille, God bless both of them. In fact, I should probably talk as much about Camille as I talk about Bill, so people don't think I'm trying to glorify a guy who I told you guys repeatedly I believe that he could have made some mistakes in his life. It's fine. I mean, that's okay to admit that and still say that he's added some value to the world. But anyway, he and Camille were very consistent about doing work for the community, investing in black people. So the way I see it is like this. Look, I think that we got to get past this idea that this man's worthless because he went to prison because he allegedly grabbed a lady's titty. That's what I'm saying. I know it's taboo to say this. I know that we live in a society where we believe that if a black man makes a mistake, fuck him, he's dead, he doesn't exist, he should be punished for life, he can never do anything good, everything he ever did good is worthless, it means nothing, it doesn't matter, and that's just not true. Shit, Joe Biden's son is all over the news right now because he's getting strippers pregnant and smoking crack in strip clubs. So you can't tell me that any of these public motherfuckers are perfect. None of these people are perfect. None of them. If you go into their private lives, you will find all kinds of stuff. I bet you, how many of y'all want to bet? Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Bill and Hillary Clinton are two of the most admired people in America. How much, give me a yes or no, if you bet that they have at least 1 or 2 or 10 bodies, dead bodies on their track record somewhere, that somebody has got popped and shot down and killed, which is worse than the titty grab, by the way, because they did something that upset the Clinton family. How many of y'all, if we had to bet money, yes or no, how many of y'all would bet that the Clintons, that there's somebody has lost everything, if you know what I mean? I'm not trying to say too much because I ain't trying to be the next one on the list, right? Because they pissed off the Clintons or got in the way of the Clinton campaign's quest for the White House. Seriously. So what I'm trying to say is not to say Cosby is like this perfect guy. I'm trying to say, stop thinking that any of these people are perfect guys, because ain't none of them perfect. All these people distancing themselves from Bill Cosby were buddied up with him over a 20, 30, 40-year period. So Bill Cosby's, he ain't, I never thought this man was perfect. If you interviewed me about Cosby 10 years ago, I would have said more negative than positive, actually. I wouldn't have been completely flattering toward him. But, this idea that because you're convicted of something, you're absolutely worthless, I think that's just not true. And let me tell you what else that Cosby is doing that I think is just a godsend, actually, is he is in prison right now mentoring those men in that prison. He is having gatherings with them and speaking to groups of men. He's speaking to groups of women. He's talking about a lot of the things that I talk about on this channel. That's why I'd love to interview Cosby. If anybody knows him, reach out to him. Tell him if he can come on, because I would love to talk to this man, because he's got wisdom that our community can benefit from. He's one of the elders who understands how Black people were before we got screwed up through integration. Right? He remembers those days. And that's when he speaks about Black families and manhood and responsibility and fatherhood, you can't get mad at that. Why are you going to throw away the message because you don't like the messenger? That's your damn problem. Yeah, and also your other big problem is you're letting white folks tell you who your messenger should be. That's why your messages are all jacked up, because about 80% of us are going to go, seriously, think about this. We sitting here complaining about how Black people are poor, and we ain't got no money, and we're oppressed, but we about to go voluntarily give away about $10 billion to white people, buying Christmas gifts from white businesses that ain't going to give you shit. That ain't going to put a nickel back in your community, but you will go and make it rain on them because they're telling you to go give them your money. So seriously, you're getting bad advice from all the wrong people, and that's why your whole community screwed up, because you need to listen to the people that actually care about Black people. Again, I say all this without on any level vouching for Mr. Cosby in every context. I don't know what this man does in his bedroom, but I do know that most of the ladies in this room probably would not have any reason to fear an 83-year-old man. And don't take a drink from him, because I'm telling you, I don't, I'm not saying that none of that went down. I'm not saying that at all. But the man is 80-something years old, and whatever equipment he might have been using to get the job done back in the 1950s, I would probably suspect that the equipment ain't what it used to be. So my point is, at the end of the day, I just really think we have to have balance, and what I like about Black people is that we're not like everybody else. We have the ability to have balance. Like, I think we can look at somebody who made a mistake, went to prison, whatever, and say, okay, you messed up over here. I don't trust you over there, but I can still see some of the good in you. You can still come to church with us, or you're still part of the family, even if you made a mistake. And I think it's okay to look at Cosby in that way, because, the good that this man has done, I don't know if the good outweighs the bad. I think it's up to the individual to make that decision. But the good certainly balances against the bad in certain ways. Remember, this man made Fat Albert, and he made Fat Albert the cartoon for kids like me. He wanted Black children to be educated through the cartoons they were watching every day. So Fat Albert was part of his grad school study. I appreciate that. When he made the Cosby Show, Bill Cosby didn't have to put all those Black images in that show. Alicia and I were both talking today about how I said, how are we gonna think Claire and Cliff gonna have them damn light-skinned kids, Denise and Denise and the older one, I'm talking Sandra, right? But then she said, yeah, but remember the other 3 kids were dark-skinned. I said, oh, they thought about that. So they thought about balancing the color. That's good. They did the colorism. They probably thought that through, right? And think about this. They would always be wearing HBCU sweatshirts and T-shirts. And then he did A Different World, a show that literally single-handedly dramatically increased HBCU enrollment within a couple of years of the time that the show was released. So, do we act like none of that happened because of whatever happened with this lady, this Andrew? Andrew Constant, the lady with the Adam's apple where he grabbed her, you know what, or whatever, right? I don't know. So Little Bill's another show. Everything that he put out there was designed to make you better. So at the very worst, you could say Cosby is a severely imperfect human being who did some really productive shit that nobody else is doing for you. You have a lot of people who didn't go to prison, who are shitting all over your community, and you admire these people, even though they're destroying you every step of the way. I mean, seriously. I mean, go look and say, nope. I'm trying not to get too caught up in the Cardi B thing, but I swear to God, it freaks me out that she can go and confess to doing pretty much what Bill Cosby did. I mean, she did. Of course, she's not raping, putting her penis in anybody because she ain't got a penis, right? Because women don't rape, but she's literally doing the same, drugging men and financially raping them, taking all their money and then setting them up with transsexuals to rape them. So, and we literally, and think about this. This just points out the clear hypocrisy. White people think she's still awesome. They think she's still amazing. They love her. Why? Because she's not a black man. You see, when it comes to the black man, their ultimate goal is extermination. The black man has no value to society as anything other than a source of entertainment or some sort of athletic pet, right? Or some sort of prison inmate that can actually give them free labor or whatever. There's no other use for a black man. So if Cardi B were a black man, they'd be all over his ass. Give me a yes or no. What do you think? If Cardi B was a black man, if the B stood for black man, do you think Cardi B would be walking the streets right now making records and rapping and doing all stuff? If Cardi B was a black man, would she be a free woman or person right now? No. The answer is no, she would not be. So I just hope that you guys will see it in a balanced perspective. That's all I'm saying. And I look at Cosby, and I'm gonna tell you what, most of your wimpy celebrities, they're about as soft as Terry Crews is. Terry Crews got grabbed by his vagina, so he's up here in the Me Too movement now. I think he's gonna change his name to Beth and become a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman or something. I don't know, but most of these celebrities are wimps. Most of these celebrities, they would fold under that kind of pressure. The fact that Cosby did not fold, the fact that Cosby is still standing strong, and he's 80-something years old, man, this man might not be perfect, but to me, that's what being a black man is all about. As far as I'm concerned, reading that interview and hearing the defiant spirit of a man who says, hey, I'm going to do 8 years and 9 months in prison, and he's 82 years old, that inspired the shit out of me. That's warrior energy right there. That's that Malcolm X tradition that y'all don't know nothing about because y'all got too many punk boys in your community. They're raising black men to be wimps. They're raising black men to be women. They're raising black men to be. In fact, it's an insult to women to even say that these men are women because our women are the strongest women on earth. So I'm not even gonna say they're raising them to be women. I'm saying they're raising them to be feminine and weak and scared and punks and everything else. And I'm telling you, when I see a black man 80-something years old talk about, I'm just going to be here for another 9 years, and knowing that all he's got to do is kneel and bow to get out a little early and possibly get a few more years, a couple years as a free man before he dies, and he's passing that up to stand by what he believes. I'm sorry. I think he's my hero right now. Not because of everything. I'm not co-signing on everything this man did, but I'm definitely co-signing on what he did in this interview. So God bless you, Bill Cosby. I don't know if he's ever going to see this conversation or not, but I think it's important for him to know that there are people that get it, and I think he understands. In fact, in the interview, he actually talks about things that have been done to his people. In fact, let me read this to you. First of all, thank you very much. Somebody made a donation that says your health is in your hands. Well, thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate that very much. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way. Please hit the thumbs up button. Let me read this part here. Check this out. This is the coolest part of the interview. I can't believe I missed this part. He says, listen to this. Cosby says that the trial was a setup and that the jury were imposters. Quote, I know what they've done to my people, but my people are going to view me and say, that boy looks good. That boy's strong, he said. I have too many heroes that I've sat with. Too many heroes whom I listen to, like John Heinrich Clark, Kenneth Clark, and Dorothy Height. Those people are very strong, and they saw the rejection of their people. This is political. I can see the whole thing. I thought that was awesome. I love that. I love, and that's what it is, right? That's why it's very important for you. This is something that applies to you guys. It's very important for you to make sure that you expose your children to men and women who will become their heroes. You must expose them because Hollywood doesn't do it. White kids can go watch, they can go watch different movies, like even movies like Fast and Furious, or watch a movie about war, and they get their heroes from cinema, right? Like they'll watch Fast and Furious, and they see, the white guy, they see The Rock and the alpha males out here fighting and being courageous and fighting to the end, right? Of course, the black guys, Tyrese and Ludacris, are the scared little cowards, like, oh, we gotta watch out, oh no, oh Lord, right? Like that's the role of the black man. They place the black man as the scary little Kevin Hart looking little sidekick, and the white man is the alpha male. He's the hero. He's the one that inspires them, and this matters. This affects how young men grow up. In fact, a lot of older men in their 40s and 50s right now are working for NASA because when they were little, they saw, Buzz Armstrong, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin as these brave white men, all American white boys who were fearless when it came to getting to the moon, right? The ship would blow up, their friends would die, and they say, so are you afraid? Are you not going to go? And they say, no, we know that this is part of the job and we have no fear, right? So children get this at an early age. White males get this at an early age. For black males, you're going to have to work a little bit harder, because what your son is getting is he's seeing, rappers that look like cartoon characters. He's seeing guys like Kevin Hart, the comedians, who nobody takes the jester seriously in the kingdom. The jester can never be the king. The jester, you'll never be the king if you're always the court jester, because the jester's job is to make the king laugh, so that, and if then the king stops laughing, he kills the court jester, right? So they're not seeing black men as strong, disciplined men. And so for Cosby, to say this, it means a lot, because what he's saying is, these were the people that I saw. These are the people I admired. This is how we roll. This is how we operate. Right. And this is a code that by which we live. And that was what you had before integration. But you don't have that anymore when you got these Democrats that are destroying households, and Republicans too. I mean, I'm not letting the Republicans off the hook, but literally they're breaking up the families. They send all the strong men to prison, and then they're telling you that if you want public assistance, you can't have a man in the house. They're telling the black women you don't need no man. Men are worthless, and you're raising your sons to be little wimps. And the sons just grow up and they make a bunch of babies, don't take care of them, and they don't become the kinds of rocks that their children need to be able to look up to. So ultimately, you become a conquered, feminized community. You become a big, soft, squishy vagina that they can come and screw whenever they want to. They don't want strong black men fighting back, because those are the ones who defend and protect at the end of the day. So when I listen to Cosby, I'm thinking, okay, this is awesome, because we all know in our community we need to build a better black man. And the best way to build a better black man is you have to override what he's learning in school. You have to override what he's learning in media. If you do not override that, then he will become a punk. He'll become a wimp. He'll become overly dependent on the system to take care of him. And then next thing you know, your son's 28 years old and he's crying because a white man won't give him a job. That's what he's doing. Or he's in prison getting raped by somebody because he's now a slave. Right? Or he's an athlete who feels like he has no purpose other than dribbling a basketball or throwing a football for white people. Or he's a comedian who feels that the only way he can survive is by being the court jester and going out and telling jokes. Right? That's what we're producing. That's what we're creating. We need men. We need men in our community. And I'm not throwing Bill Cosby away, because he's one of the few great men that we got left that is in the public eye. And I'm getting emotional when I say this. I'm not going to get too emotional, but I'm just thinking about that, and I'm just telling you, that's your problem. Your problem is you ain't got no men. That's why you got so many black women that are like, we looking for a good man, can't find one, because the men are not raised to have any sort of sense of honor, any sort of sense of decency, any sort of sense of strength. None of that. It's sacrifice, all the things that a man is supposed to know. We got a lot of boys that grow up that never learn these things, and then your whole community is in shambles, and you're easily conquered. You're broken down. They conquer you every single day, every single year, and you don't know what the hell's happening, and you don't know why. You got the predators coming in and taking your little girls and doing whatever because they don't have strong fathers around. So that's why, if you want to know why I am not as quick to attack and tear down a guy like a T.I. because we know what T.I. said about, the checking the daughter's hymen and all that. I don't understand any of that, right? I don't even know what a hymen really was. I assume it's somewhere around the clitoris but I don't know. I don't want to know anything about my daughter's clitoris, her hymen, none of that, right? But here's the thing. I'm not one to participate at all in cancel culture, because what's happening is you're canceling your men and you're not giving them a license to go out and be strong and to actually lead and to sometimes make mistakes in their leadership. When you're leading, sometimes you make a mistake. Sometimes you say something stupid. Sometimes you do something wrong, and we can't destroy the men every time they slip up a little bit. I can't leave my household if my wife is up my ass every time I say something inappropriate or do something the wrong way. She can correct me. I should listen to that. I'll absorb that. But at the end of the day, that's kind of how it works. You can't give up on your men. Stop giving up on your men. That's the message for today. So Cosby, I'm not giving up on Cosby. I'm assuming at 80 something years old, he ain't gonna hurt nobody. I applaud the fact that he's in prison. He's changing these men's lives. That's going to be his pathway to being able to live forever. That's how he's going to live forever. Cosby, if he died tomorrow, Bill Cosby lives forever, because guess what? Those men are going to come home, and because they sat around a guy who was on them about manhood and responsibility and integrity and decency and strength, they're going to come home and have more integrity, have more decency, have more strength, and be more reliable to their children, which will make their sons more reliable to their children, and so on and so forth. So Cosby is going to live forever. And he's going to be my hero, whether he's your hero or not. And the reason he's going to be my hero is not because he was a perfect man, but because he was something that we don't really have in our community anymore, which is a real man who really stands up for black people. So that's my 2 cents on Cosby. I take it or leave it. Take it for what it is. I'm not changing anything. So anyway, guys, hit the thumbs up button. I'm about to get out of here. I want to say thank you to everybody who I see you guys make donations in the super chat. Thank you, William Floyd. He says, visit King Popart and buy my original art. King Pop Art, Popart, King Pop Art. Please support these businesses when they mention these businesses, because they're actually supporting us. So I want to make sure you guys know about these businesses. King Pop Art, and buy my original art for Black Friday, something that increases in value over time. All right, and his hashtag is Rap Snacks Designer. Oh wow, that's cool. So he's the designer for Rap Snacks. That's pretty good. That's a big company. Good for you, brother. All right, William Floyd, King Pop Art. Rap Snacks Designer is his hashtag. And also Bryant Hope, thank you, Hoyt, thank you very much. She says, in high school days, I ran track and at the Penn Relays. He gave me the men and women's team advice that was invaluable. I'll never cancel Cosby. Good. And what I like is that I think we should start really just deciding how we're going to see people, right? Stop letting mainstream media tell you who your hero should or should not be. I'm not even telling you that you should agree with me. If you don't like Cosby, it's your right to do that. Just make sure that you're making your own decision, and stop letting media tell you, who to admire, who not to admire, because they do this. They'll throw out flaky, ridiculous black people, and we'll start looking up to them because they're on TV. But your real heroes, the people that really have your back, are the ones who got fired from their job, or the ones who can't get on TV. So we have to make sure that we're deciding who our heroes are going to be, not them. Not them. All right. So I'm out of here, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And also, if you want to go to theblackbusinessschool.com, they have a lot of really great discounts for you guys. If you guys want to go learn about wealth and investing and all that stuff. So go to theblackbusinessschool.com. We actually have specialists that can talk to you right now about building wealth, because as you get ready for Black Friday, one of the things I really want to encourage you guys to do for Black Friday, Christmas, all of that, is don't just buy your kids toys. Toys don't last. Toys are not going to prepare them for economic racism. Economic racism is coming for them. Oppression is on its way. Oppression is going to be at your house in about 10, 15 years for your children. And so it's up to you to prepare them. So I encourage you, buy them some shares of stock or do something for them that's going to make them better. A toy is going to last about 6 to 8 months, right? But if you buy them some shares of stock, or you put them in a situation where they can learn how to defend themselves against economic racism, then you're going to take care of them for much longer than just a few months. Okay, so go ahead and do something good for your kids over Christmas, and don't just go spend all your money. Remember, it's all about the love. It's not about the money anyway. So don't get caught up in the materialism of it all. You don't have to do that. Okay, guys. So I'm out of here. Have a good day. Please hit the thumbs up button. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Peace.